What's going on? It's your boy c.versy here for another segment of the Talking to Myself podcast. Right now, I just want to get into how I joined the Army at 17, or how I convinced everyone to let me join at 17. So let's rewind. The year is 2002. There's a lot of shit going on at home. I'm 17. I'm a senior in high school, trying to figure out what is supposed to happen next. Like, what am I doing after high school? Just a lot going on, like, in my head at the time. Like, what's out there for me? What don't I know about myself? Like, being a foster kid who doesn't know much about, like, his family at the time. Really spends, like, most of his time by himself, just trying to figure out life, basically. Like, I'm 17, but I'm a senior in high school, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do next. I don't have a lot of examples of what's supposed to happen next. Me and my mom are getting into it. The woman that has raised me, it's not my birth mom, but it's the woman that has raised me who took me in as a baby and then later on raised me for half my life. So anyway, we're bumping heads just because I'm a teenager, I'm a boy, I'm got problems with authority, listening, or feeling like I'm not being heard, whatever it is. So we are bumping heads. At some point we have an argument, and I leave home to go out with friends and my girlfriend at the time, and I just don't come back for like 2 weeks. But I still go to school. I still go to school every day. But during that time, the Army recruiters are a consistent figure, like, at my high school. They had already been there a lot anyway. At this point, I'm in my 4th year of ROTC, Army JROTC. The recruiters are there fairly often, talking to the graduating seniors, asking us what we're supposed to be doing next. The recruiters are there in fly-ass cars and shit. Like, they coming up there. Well, what was fly to me at the time, because they all had the same car. It was like a Dodge Stratus that would always have, like, half the American flag or something on the side. I don't know. Either way, they're coming up to your high school campus in these dope cars, or what was dope to us at the time, with the big rims. They've got PlayStations in the car. They've shown you, like, everything that they've done with their military money, and basically things that you could have as well. I understand it. I understand that there's, that they're recruiters, they're recruiting, and these are recruiting tools. I get that. Also get that in the past, how a lot of black people felt like, why are you joining the military that doesn't respect black people, black men? So with all that in mind, I still kept talking to these recruiters, like, just kept listening to what they had to say. When you're in ROTC for as long as I was, and you decide to go and join the Army or whatever, you are supposed to come in higher. You come in higher than people that just walk in and join the Army off the street. So you get paid a little bit more than the people that come in off the street, because you've got all those years of at least the basic knowledge. Like, they're not gonna put a gun in your hand and call you sergeant, but they will give you just a little bit more money than the average 18, 19-year-old that just walks in off the street, which is cool. Whatever. Sounds good at the time. So during this whole, like, 2 weeks while I'm being a runaway but still going to school, school knows that I haven't been home because the police have been to the school looking for me. So now it's becoming a thing. Like, yo, there are people asking, like, yo, what's up? What's going on? The recruiter one of the recruiters catches me on a good day. I'm like, yeah, this is what I got going on, this, and that. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you should go ahead and sign up. Or like, no, here's how they get you. They give you this like practice test of what, and that shows you what your job would be if you took the real test, and how much you would get paid if you took the real test, so on and so forth. So there's a day where a bunch of motherfuckers, a bunch of seniors is in here taking this fake test, trying to see like, oh, what do I qualify for? What type of job would I have? So on and so forth. So I do the real fake test. They give me an amount that's a little higher than the starting amount. My job was combat engineer. I tested in as a combat engineer, which is exactly what I would have wanted anyway. It speaks directly to my personality. So that was another thing that probably helped will me in. Being a combat engineer, the person that designs the game plan for how we're supposed to get these troops somewhere else. If our troops are on this side of some land and there's water and a bridge needs to be built to get to the other side to continue the mission, someone like me is going to draw up those plans. You get me? So I thought that was dope. I was like, yeah, I'm totally down to do that. And I'm talking to him about joining the Army National Guard. So in my mind, the National Guard doesn't really do anything. They are just like America's army, like America's security, basically. We call them when shit gets a little shaky here, but it doesn't ever transcend the National Guard having to be active like overseas. So that was another selling point. So after 2 weeks, after homecoming, I went to homecoming still without going home for 2 weeks, being a runaway. I went home after homecoming, suited and booted, and I gave my mom the rundown. I took the recruiter with me so he could explain in better detail. Like, he could give her the same pitch that I got, because I knew if she got the same pitch that I got, she would understand. I knew that I didn't explain things well, or I understood that we were at a point where she wasn't trying to hear what I had to say, even if it was right. She'd listen to the same thing from somebody else if it was right. Not saying this decision was right, but that's just where we're at. So I bring the recruiter to her house. He convinces her that, yeah, this is going to be something good for him. We're going to make sure he takes the SATs, and, he'll be able to do this and this and that after life. And, you know what I'm saying? You won't have to do much, so on and so forth. And my mom she's like, okay. And the one thing that I guess that he kept saying was that, or maybe I kept saying was that, yo, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to go to war. Like, I'll be here. And this is what she said. Her response was, all the president has to do is sign something and you will be over there as well. Like, y'all has to be overseas too. I was like, all right, man, whatever. Sign this so I can go. So she signs it. Because I'm 17, I can't just swear in. I need my legal guardian at the time to sign off that I can, so I can join, so I can go get sworn in the Army. The recruiter says, like, yeah, like, if you're under 18, like, ma'am, if you sign this paper here, like, he's good to go. Convince her to sign it. Boom. December 2002. Missed the day of school. I go and I do all that shit at the MEPS or whatever that shit was called in LA, where it's like the intake office for all of the different branches. Army, Navy, whatever. Everyone is coming there and they're doing their paperwork and they're doing their physical and they're getting their shots and they're getting sworn into the military. And it took like all day. It was like 9 to 5. Honestly, earlier than 9, because they woke us up at dark 30 in a hotel to get up and do this shit. But yeah, it took all day. So boom, that's done. I'm doing my little 1 week in a month, because that's the big ass pitch. Do 1 week in a month, and go about your business. And I get my first little check, and it's like like $200 for the weekend. And at 17, that was a lot of money for me at 17. But man, I wasn't shit. But I didn't really have any responsibilities. I didn't even have a cell phone yet. I used that money to buy my first little cell phone. Pay for some other shit like I think I helped pay for my own prom, my senior like field trip, like a bunch of shit. Like basically that little bit of money came in handy for the little things that I needed my senior year. Yeah, so it didn't work out long term. Not what I think. My recruiter just wasn't shit. Now, so it was two guys that they would send down to the school, two black guys. The guy that I ended up linking up with and recruited me and shit, like, he just turned out to be a really shitty person. Like, as soon as like I got like sworn in and I'm hanging with him and shit like that, and he's picking me up for my shit and we're talking and I get to know him as a person, I'm like, man, you ain't shit. Like, all of your conversation is about like cheating on your wife, how high the divorce rate is for recruiters and shit like that. And then the more I hang with them, I'm like, man, you're not as cool as like you came off after school. You're really kind of a lame. Everywhere we go, you're trying to holler at women, and I don't think it ever worked out. To like him getting a number, so on and so forth. Like, I just didn't like it at the time. I was like, man, this man is so concerned with chasing pussy. Like, I ain't took my SATs. I'm getting paid like a regular motherfucker off the streets. My rank ain't high. Like, I was supposed to come in as like a private first class. It was like 2 or 3 up above like the regular motherfuckers. And none of that shit happened. Like, so like I graduated without taking the SATs, and I felt some kind of way about that shit. Yeah. So here's one of the things that was like, you know what, I'm out. I'm sitting there in class doing one of my 1 weekend a month, and someone walks into one of the classes. We're in there like taking apart and putting together like M16s, like real assault rifles, real guns, not fake guns. We're taking them apart and putting them back together. Somebody walks in with a sign and shit like, yo, we're taking volunteers who wants to go to Afghanistan. We leave at this time, this date, whatever the details were. But it was like, yep, just, here's the sign up sheet. And I don't remember how many people got up, but a lot of motherfuckers from that class got the fuck up and signed up to go to Afghanistan after we signed up to do 1 week in a month. Yeah, I was like, yo, what the fuck? So after that, I was like, yeah, mom was right. I don't know about this. So I went back home after that weekend, and I was a month away from leaving for basic training. I don't remember where my basic training was. It might have been in Cali still, but I think I had to go down south for training. I don't think it was close enough. There's a place near me, Pendleton, that's like 2 hours away. That's a big spot that they send a lot of like people from military training. You either go there or you go to another spot like in the south, like Midwest, somewhere over there. I don't remember, but I think that's where I was going. So it's somewhere in reflecting in that last month was like, you know what? I didn't get my SATs. I didn't take the SATs. It's been about a year of me not getting paid the correct money. And just shit that I wasn't feeling. I was having some second thoughts about signing up. Recruiter called like, hey, all right, so you got one more weekend before basic training. I'm gonna come pick you up to go drop you off at the, so you go come get picked up for your training and shit like that. And I was like, nah, man, I'm cool. Like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this last little weekend. Like, we didn't really discuss it like that, but I don't want to do the last little weekend before I gotta leave. I just want to stay with my mom, friends, etc. If I'm gonna be gone, this is about to be my life. Like, I'm cool. I just want to be here this last month. And he gave me a bunch of pushback on that, and I was really adamant about like not doing this last weekend. Like, if I'm going to commit my life to this thing here, whatever it is, something that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm using it as an escape, then I want my last little month with my people and shit. And he was like, nah, it's like, listen, if you don't show up for this, then you're out. Like, that's it. They're kicking you out. I was like, oh man, I didn't say that then, but in my mind, I was like, oh, that's all I need to hear. Like, so you mean to tell me if I don't show up this weekend, then I'm out the army, that's it? He said, yeah. Man, I didn't show up, never heard from him again, never heard from the army again, outside of, for a while they were sending me checks that had just all zeros on it, just for no money, which was whack. Going to the mailbox thinking that I had a check coming and nothing was there. But yeah, so no court martial, none of that shit. Nothing extra. I thought I was gonna have to go to court and sit in front of like a judge and explain to people like, yo, like I thought I might have to like be in some kind of legal trouble for that whole shit. And I fucking wasn't. And apparently there's a bunch of loopholes that will get you out of the military. And after I did that, I would run into, or not right after, but like in life, I was running into people who have had the same situation. Like they had joined the army or the Navy or the reserves, like they joined something. And during that first year, something didn't work out and they left. And then nothing happened. Like, wasn't no this, ain't no shit on your record. Like, honestly, I don't even think it shows up. It doesn't even come up. I don't even think about it as a part of my life. Because it's been almost 20 years. So, and I've done so much in the last 15, 20 years that it's hard to remember a year where I kind of barely did anything, or I was kind of still jumping off the porch. It's not something I think about at all. This is not my original army shirt. I saw this like in a Goodwill or something, and I bought it, and it reminded me like, yo, I did that. You know what I mean? Like I swore my life into that. Like that's crazy. That could have been went a whole nother direction, and it didn't. And I'm so glad that I found a way out of that motherfucking shit. Because I was not trying to be some lifetime military guy. I just wanted some money for 3 or 4 years or whatever the contract was. And once that shit wasn't looking cool, I found a way out of that shit. So that's what life is all about. That and a couple other things let me know that you can honestly do whatever it is that you want to do with a little amount of time. Like that's a crazy thing to say. Like, yeah, I was in the army for a year, and then that's a crazy thing to forget. Like I've done so much since then that I don't even remember that I did that. And it's just kind of now starting to be like, you know what? I've done something. So I'm in a state of reflection and all of those things, and was thinking about that, how different my life could have been had I stayed in the motherfucking Army National Guard. But yeah, to anyone that is a career military person, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? You did what works for you, and what works for a lot of people. The military is big as shit, and it's necessary. It just wasn't for me. I didn't join for the right reasons, which probably would have resulted in me out there not giving my all, and who knows what could have happened, right? I feel I'm in a better position, and I made the right decision. But who knows? I could just be talking to myself. Peace.